You didn't quit, you just never started. And I need you to understand that's the same thing. There's a version of quitting that nobody really ever talks about because it doesn't look like giving up, it doesn't feel like failure. It really almost feels like wisdom, like patience, like you're just waiting for the right moment, the right feeling, the right level of readiness before you step into what you know you're supposed to be doing. But here's what that waiting actually is. I call it a silent quit. You never announce it, you never really made the decision. You just keep pushing the start line continually on. 1 month, one season, one circumstance at a time until the waiting becomes the answer. Now, I know that because I did it for 6 months. I knew what I wanted to build, I knew who I wanted to help, and I sat on it. Not because the idea wasn't there, not because I didn't care, but because I didn't feel ready. And that feeling, it kept me silent for 6 months while I watched other people step into the exact space I was supposed to fill. And what it really is, it's a readiness lie. Here's what most of us have been taught about starting something new: that you move when you're ready. You step in when you have enough confidence, enough clarity, enough certainty that you're not going to embarrass yourself or lead people in the wrong direction. And that belief, it sounds completely reasonable because let's face it, the last thing you want to do is show up before you know what you're doing. But here's what that belief actually produces: a silent, quiet, dressed up as preparation. Because the ready feeling doesn't come from thinking about starting, it doesn't come from planning it, researching it, or even talking about it. It only comes from one place: doing it. And here's what is so dangerous about this readiness lie. While you're waiting to feel ready, the people you're supposed to be leading are waiting for you to show up. Every month you delay isn't just a month that you lose. It's a month the people who needed what you were carrying stayed stuck. I felt that weight when I finally hit record. 6 months of people who could have been helped while I was waiting on the feeling that was never going to come before I started. But underneath the ready lie is something most people never do. And if you don't see it clearly, you'll break the cycle for maybe a week and then you'll kind of slide right back into waiting. Here's what's actually happening when you wait to feel ready: you're not being cautious, you're not being wise, you're committing the silent quit. And a silent quit is exactly what it sounds like. It's the quit that never gets announced. The quit that hides behind language like, not yet, I'm almost ready, waiting for the right time, and nobody around you knows that it even happened. You barely know what happened, but the result is identical to walking away because you never walked toward it either. And the silent quit has a cost most people never calculate. Not the cost of failing, the cost of never. Now, think about that for a second. We spend all our time calculating the risk of starting. What if it doesn't work? What if I'm not good enough? What if I fail publicly? And those questions feel reasonable, like you're being realistic about the risk, but nobody, most of the time, doesn't ever ask the next question: what if it works? I finally asked myself both questions. 6 months in, frustrated, watching other people fill the space I was supposed to be in, I asked myself, what's the worst thing that can happen? The first video is bad, gets no views, I learn something, I make the next one better. Then I asked, well, what if it's great? And then the question that broke everything open for me: what if I never find out? Because I never started. The last question ended the silent quit for me. because I realized that the cost of never was higher than the cost of failing. Failure gives you data. Never, it gives you nothing except a question you'll carry for the rest of your life. What if? Now, I knew that that wasn't enough. You actually need a way to move when the feeling isn't there, and that's where most people blow it. Here's the sequence that broke my silent quit. It was 3 questions. Let me give them to you in order. Don't skip any of them. Question 1. What's the worst thing that can happen? Not the vague fear version, the specific, real, honest answer. And so write that down. For me, it was, man, my first video could be terrible. It could get no views. It could embarrass me. It could confirm every doubt I had about myself. Sit with that and actually feel it. For you, it might be, what if I start this business? What if it fails? What if I don't sell anything? Whatever the question may be. And then move on to question 2. What if it works? What if the first video connects with one person who needed it? What if what you've been carrying is exactly what someone out there has been waiting for? That question, now, it doesn't replace the risk, but it changes the math, because now you're not just weighing the cost of failing, you're weighing it against the cost of never finding out. And then ask the question that makes it all so real. Question 3. Can I live with never knowing? That's the one that breaks the silent quit. Not motivation, not confidence, not readiness, just the honest answer to whether you can look back at this moment and be okay with never having tried. Now, I couldn't. So I picked a date not when I felt ready. I never felt ready. I picked a date and I showed up, and the readiness I had been waiting for 6 months to feel, it started building the moment I hit record. Not before, but after. 6 months. That's what the ready lie cost me. 6 months of a silent quit. I didn't even know I was committing because I called it waiting instead of quitting. Listen, you're not unready. You're someone who has been asking the wrong question. You've been asking, when I feel ready, instead of, can I live with never knowing? Those are not the same questions. And listen, only one of them moves you. The cost of failing, yeah, it's real. I'm not going to tell you it isn't, but the cost of never is permanent. Failure ends. Never, it doesn't. So ask these 3 questions tonight. Write it down. What's the worst thing that could happen? Then flip to, what's the best thing? What if it works? Then answer the one question that matters most. Can you live with never knowing? If the answer is no, you already have everything you need to start. Now, if this hit you, don't stop here. The next video is already waiting for you. I'll see you there.